Hey guys, I'm Sydney and this is my first ever YouTube video. I've uploaded a lot of short videos with modest fashion inspo, modesty in the gym, things like that. But I feel like it was a good time to come on in here and introduce myself and my journey with modesty since I've gained quite a few new followers from those videos. So we're just gonna do a little get ready with me today and I'm gonna talk about my journey with modesty. So just to start off, I have always been interested in fashion. It's something that I've just always loved ever since I was younger. You could always find me trying on new outfits, looking on Pinterest for hours on end, and it's just something that I've always had a deep love for. Along with that, I grew up as a Christian, but my relationship with God had never really been my own personal relationship. Growing up, we would go to church off and on, but I never really knew how to grow that relationship with God personally. So I really have spent the last year and a half just growing that relationship with God, figuring out what that looks like, reading the Bible for the first time. And in doing so, I've just really grown that relationship with the Lord and my understanding. You know, as you grow closer to God, your heart kind of changes, what you want out of the world kind of changes, and you start feeling your convictions. So that's kind of where this journey with modesty started. My goal in life has always been to be a fashion influencer. That's just what I've always wanted. I post my outfits on Pinterest, I post my outfits on Instagram, TikTok, and before I found God, I just really went along with the trends and posted whatever the trends were, whatever I found interest in. But as I, grew closer to God, I found that I was feeling convicted with what I was wearing and what I was posting, and it kind of made me question what the underlying intention was posting in that outfit. As a girl growing up in this day and age, I fell into the trap of using my body for attention and using what I wear for attention as well. I felt God really challenging me to look at my intentions behind what I was wearing and look at my heart behind what I was wearing. And when I first felt this conviction, I will be honest, it was really hard for me because fashion is something I've always loved. Like, I don't know why, I just always had that love for it. So having God convict me of that and kind of taking it away, I struggled with that for a while. I thought, why would God give me this such great interest in fashion if I can't use it, or if I can't use it in the way I thought? So I struggled with it for a while, and I felt like God was just asking me to let go of it. So I completely stopped caring about trends, fashion, what I wore, posting fashion on Instagram, on TikTok. I deleted everything, made my accounts private. I completely let go of it for, I would say, at least 6 months last year. And I gave it to God and I said, you know what? If this truly is God's plan for me, then I know He'll bring it back to me His way. Maybe He's just wanting me to let it go right now, but He'll bring it back to me. So I trusted Him in that and I completely let it go. And at the beginning of that surrender, I definitely felt like it was a death to myself, a death to the person that I had been my whole life. I found so much identity in what I wore and fashion that letting it go was like a death to me. I took it very hard. It was something that was really upsetting, and I just felt so confused because I found such identity in it for so long, and when you strip that identity away, you're like, who am I? And that's exactly how I felt. Through feeling those emotions, that's kind of when I realized that, wow, I was making an idol of fashion. I was making it my identity when God should be my identity. All of these things that we have interests in and passions in are all just extras to us. They should be extras to us. They shouldn't be our main source of identity and purpose. That should be reserved for God. But it took me a while to come to that realization. Like I said, my journey with modesty and kind of dying to the idol that I made in fashion took, I would say, about 6 months. During that time, I was just very confused, and like I said, I felt like it was a death to the person that I was. So I was just really studying God's word and trying to be obedient in what he wanted for me. So that is what I focused on in that time frame. And after surrendering that to God for a few months, he completely changed my heart and the way that I see fashion. When I was giving this up, I thought there's going to be so many things that I can't wear. There's going to be so many trends that I can't participate in. I was so focused on what I couldn't wear. But after he changed my heart, I didn't really even care what I can't wear anymore, because I don't want to wear it anyway. It's not that I see it as something I can't do. It's just my heart has changed and I don't even want to do that. That's how you know, like, God has changed your heart, when something that you so focused on that you couldn't do anymore, it just becomes something that you don't want to do anymore. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand if they're not Christian. They just see all the things that they can't do and the things that the Bible says you can do. But once you come to God and you have that intimate relationship, you don't even want those things anymore. And it reminds me of that quote that says, the devil will have you crying in front of a door that had nothing behind it. That's exactly what it is. Like, the things that you think that you need aren't what you need, and you'll be sitting there upset about a door that has absolutely nothing behind it, has nothing prosperous for you. And that's really what I've learned in my journey with Christ. So when I finally felt like my heart was in a good place to kind of come back as a fashion influencer, God didn't take that desire away from me. I think he just wanted me to change my heart and change my outlook on how I go about pursuing this. So as I came back on and started pursuing fashion influencing again, I definitely wanted to make sure everything that I wore was modest, in the sense of physical modesty, but also my intentions behind it and how I was posting, how I was posing, just like everything that went into it. And my content creation process completely changed. And at first, it was really hard to make that shift once again. I was so afraid of falling back into what I had previously done. I was so afraid of just disappointing God and falling back into old ways. So that really scared me from posting for a while. But that is just the devil getting in your head, and God would never plant worries or doubts in your mind. But starting out, I really felt like a baby deer trying to walk. I had to relearn everything from a different perspective, a different lens. I didn't know what my fashion was going to look like. I feel like my fashion style has completely changed. The way that I look for inspiration in fashion has completely changed. And it was all a learning experience, truthfully. And I'm still learning in what I think is modest and what I feel comfortable with wearing and what isn't. I think anything that God changes your heart with, it's always going to be a learning experience. You may not be perfect in your sense when you first start out. I know there were still things that I wore that I would consider immodest now when I first started, just like things to the gym, whether that was like biker shorts. I would wear those to the gym, and now I don't really feel comfortable wearing those to the gym on their own. But I was still learning, and it was kind of hard to give myself that grace. I just felt like I was failing and falling back into old ways and thinking. But you have to understand, if your heart is right, you may make mistakes still. But God isn't just like waiting for you to fail so he can reprimand you. He's trying to be there to guide you and show you the path that he has for your life. It's truly been the most rewarding and challenging journey, but way more rewarding no matter how challenging it has been. Like, being able to feel confident in clothes without seeking attention from people and validation from people of what I'm wearing has been such a game changer for me. And if you have no interest in fashion, it might not make sense to you, but when it's something that you've put so much importance on in your life and you've kind of changed your thinking on it, and it's not controlling you, but only something to express yourself in extra, that's where it's really been great for me. And I do want to say there still may be some people that don't find what I wear modest, just depending on where you live, your culture, your religion. I don't see it as immodest to wear things like pants or jeans, or skirts that are above the knee, as long as you have like something underneath it, or if it's not too short to where if you bend over you're gonna see something. But overall, you won't see me wearing just a plain sports bra to the gym. I won't be wearing crop tops, things like that. But I hope I can be of some inspiration to these young girls that think that they have to dress a certain way to get attention and to get validation. I don't really see any mainstream influencers posting outfits or fashion in a modest way, and I think a lot of the young girls are going to be very impressionable and think that wearing those things are empowering, when really you're attracting attention that you don't want. And I know it's unfortunate to say, we can't control other people's actions, but when you dress a certain way, you are going to get that unwanted attention. And I just speak from personal experience. When I dressed more modestly in the gym or in public, I did get men staring at me, and it was very uncomfortable. And now dressing modestly, I don't get that. I don't get those stares anymore. And that's not to say this is gonna fix everything. It's just the sense of unwanted attention and just trying to glorify God with my everyday decisions and what I can control. But I feel like the climate that we live in right now is so toxic to these young girls. They see people on TikTok and Instagram left and right wearing next to nothing in public, in the gym, and it's just so normalized that they don't see anything wrong with it. And the media has labeled showing your body as empowering. And I think that's the biggest lie that we've ever been sold. Showing your body is empowering. I don't think that's empowering. Who is that empowering for? Maybe if it's just for yourself at home and you feel comfortable wearing that at home. But if you go out in public, it's just empowering for other people to see. That's what I don't get. I don't think me showing my body wearing next to nothing is empowering me. Yeah, I just really want to show women and young girls that you can still be stylish, you can still express yourself without sacrificing your values or showing your body. This journey has truly made me realize that I am so much more than my body. And that's something that was the only thing I found my worth in as a young adult, as a teenager. I feel like as a teenager, we're so focused on what we look like, why we look like this, why don't we look like the girls on TV, the girls on Instagram, the girls in the magazines, and just having this realization that I'm so much more than what my body looks like has been the most freeing thing ever, and I don't determine my worth on my body anymore. And that's what I want for the people that watch my videos. I just want them to know that there's so much more than what they look like on the outside, and I want people to see me first for who I am as a person, what I am, and how I love from the inside, than my outward appearance and what my body looks like. So yeah, that's really my journey with modesty and kind of how it started. I do plan to continue posting more outfit inspirations. I'm still growing my modesty in the gym, so keep an eye out for more of that. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment. If you're somebody that is curious about being modest but doesn't know where to start, feel free to send me a message or ask me a question. Or maybe this is something that you have felt conviction with and you're just still struggling and falling back into old ways. I encourage you to ask God to give you a new perspective. And, if you still feel like nothing's helping, maybe like me, you completely take a step back from fashion. You take a step back from worrying about what you're going to wear, focusing on trends. I know it feels scary if it's something that's meant a lot to you, that you feel like you're kind of just giving up on that thing. But know that any desire that God has placed in your heart, He will give back to you in His time and in His way. So maybe He just needs you to let go of it for a little while. But yeah, this has just been me in my journey with modesty. I hope you learned something from this. If you have any questions, like I said, leave a comment or shoot me a message and I'll try to answer it the best that I can. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk about in my journey, or anything else that you want to see from me. Let me know, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Thanks for watching.